Hi everyone, Emily here. I'm happy to be here and I wanted to make with you on film one of my little kitties. It is a kitty and it's a heart. So I made a heart. I sewed on the kitty face and I made a little tail and some cute little ears. The ears, I made 6 of these and I've made every set of ears different because I just can't decide which ears that I like the best. I like these ears. So I thought that I would make another one and come on here and show you how I'm going to make the kitty. So I have this yarn here. I love this yarn. I want to make my kitty body really nice and bright and crazy looking. Because that really, I think kids love that look when it's just kind of crazy looking. What I did is I took a piece of black yarn and I pulled it apart. It was a 4-ply, so now I have a 2-ply. So it's not so thick for the face. I'll put that up there. And then I have my eyes. I ordered on Amazon. And I have different colors, different ones. And then I like to burn the back, so I have this lighter. I have a crochet hook. This yarn suggests use a 5.0. I'm using a 3.75. I want it smaller because I want my stitches to be nice and tight because I will be stuffing. I have my scissors, a needle to darn in. My end is flat, a crochet marker. And I have a littler crochet hook just so I can bury my tails. And I have my pattern. I have my Confessions of a Yarn Junkie. It's getting really full. So I've been starting to write my patterns on cards, index cards, and they're large. So I'm going to go ahead and follow this. If you want to take a screenshot. Now I did not make up this pattern. I did get it off of someone off the internet. Don't remember. I wrote it down. I didn't write down who it was from. So I can't take credit for making this pattern. And then the reason I made this into a cat, I'll tell you, is because I was going on Facebook or YouTube, and somebody had just posted a picture of this that they had made with no pattern, and I thought, oh, I can make a heart and sew face, ears, and a tail on. So that's what I did, because I thought, yeah, I can do that, and it's cute. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you know how to crochet already, this tutorial would be great for you. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I'm going to make a magic circle, and I'm going to do 8 single crochets. So how I do my magic circle, I'm going to cross it over right here on my finger, go underneath my yarn, I'm going to grab it and pull it through, and I'm going to chain 1, and that just secured it. So now I'm going to do 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to pull that tight. Now I'm going to do an increase. So an increase is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So we'll have a total of 16 stitches. So I'm going to count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know I want to go in this stitch here. I'm going to do my single crochet, another one in the same stitch, and that's my increase. Now I like to tie a knot. So I'm going to pull this tail as tight as I can. And then I'm going to tie a slip knot, and I'm going to push it down as close as I can to the middle of my work. And sometimes I do too. And that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like it's not going to come loose and open up. So you can see that it's nice and tight. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. That was row 2. So row 3 is a single crochet and an increase. I'm going to take my tail, I'm going to stick it here. That's going to be my stitch marker. So I'm going to do a single crochet in the next stitch and an increase. An increase, remember, is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And I'm just going to do that pattern all the way around. Alrighty, now that is row 3. So for row 4 and 5, I'm going to pull my stitch marker, which is my tail, back out. It's 2 rows of single crochets. So I'm going to go ahead and start my single crochets around. So I'm going to do 2 rows of single crochets. There we go. So now I'm done with my 5th row. And I'm just going to chain 1 and I'm going to pull it. I'm going to leave me a little bit of a tail. So now what I want to do is take this tail. Okay. I like to tie a knot again because I like it to stay tight. I'm not going to go in this first stitch right after your last stitch. I'm going to go into the next one. I'm going to go from behind to the front. I'm going to grab it and pull it through. Then that last stitch before the tail, I'm going to go behind. I'm going to go right into that back stitch. I'm going to pull it through. And you can see how it just has continuous. So you have a stitch here and a stitch here. And then what I like to do is I just like to weave it in and out a little bit. Any way you want to. You can weave it in the back. I like to go through the top stitches, so when we attach them and we continue to crochet, it will hold these in place. You can bury yours any way you want. You don't even have to bury it if you don't want to. I just find that this keeps my project nice and secure. Okay, so we're going to make another one of these. Let's go ahead and make another one. Alrighty, I have finished my second piece. So this is the top of the heart. One here and one here and one here and one here, and now we're going to connect them. So our next row is row 6. It says to do 12 single crochets. So I'm going to do 1, and here is where I'm going to start using my marker. I've made so many of these now, so so I'm going to do 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So after that, we're going to join our 2 sides together. I like to find where I connected it, and I'm going to go just on this side of it. Couple down. So you can see I just put it right on my crochet hook, and I'm going to grab and bring it through. Okay, so I attached it. So now we're going to go all the way around. We're going to come over here. We're going to join it here, and we're going to end at our stitch marker. So let's go ahead and do that. You can see here I came to where I joined. So I got that little knot in the middle. Just going to do one on this side, one right over on the other side. It looks fine. And then when you get to where you matched it, you can see I went right here. I do not want a big gap, so I'm going to go right into this one right here. And if you do find that you have a gap, no problem. Just go around a couple of times and take a needle and matching yarn and sew it shut. I did have to do that on a couple of mine. You just sew it shut. Now this is row 6. Row 7 is a single crochet all the way around. Do single crochet and move my stitch marker. Here we go. Top of our heart. Okay. So now we're going to start our decrease. So row 8 is single crochet 4 and a decrease. So let's go ahead and move that stitch marker. I'm going to crochet 1 stitch. Move my stitch marker. So I have 1. We want to do a total of 4. 2, 3, 4. Now our decrease, we're going to do an invisible decrease, which is going under, excuse me, only the front strand. Okay, so we're going to pick up 1, go to the next one and pick up 1, pick up our yarn, grab it and bring it through 2 strands. Now you have 2 left. Finish that single crochet. We are going to do 4, 3, 4, and another decrease. This is an invisible decrease, and when you look at your project, you won't be able to see it hardly at all. And you're just going to finish that pattern all the way around. Okay, when you get to that stitch marker, you're done, even if your number does not add up, okay? I'm going to take my stitch marker down because row 9 is 1 single crochet all the way around. So I'm just going to move my stitch marker. And we're going to continue to do 1 single crochet all the way around. Now for row 10, we're going to do another decrease row. I'm going to take my stitch marker off and do 1 single crochet. I always like my stitch marker to be on the first one in the next round. We are going to do 3 single crochets, so I have a total of 3, and we're going to do another invisible decrease. That's going to be our pattern all the way around, which is 3 single crochets and a decrease. Alrighty. So now for row 11, I'm going to move my stitch marker up, do my 1 single stitch, put my stitch marker there. Row 11 is 1 single crochet all the way around. And before I finish this round, I think I'm going to just stop wherever I'm at. And I'm going to sew my face on and put my eyes on, because if I get any further, it's going to be really hard. So I'm going to look, because it always seems like one hump is always bigger than the other. I want to pick the side that's the smallest to put my face on because I want my badonkadonk to be bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and put my eyes on. Now you can sew your eyes on with the yarn if you want to. I've done that too. I think I'm going to pick some blue eyes. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 from the top. And that's where I'm going to put my eyes at. And I'm going to put them in the 1, 2, 3, 4 between the 4th and the 5th round. And I'm just going to decide where I want them. It's way over too far. That looks really cute. Looks like he's kind of looking that way a little bit. I might have paid $10 to $12 for this kit of eyeballs on Amazon. And you just put them on and press them down. You can hear them click, but I do not trust them not to come off because if a child pulled on them or something, they would pop right off. Or even if you washed it. So what I do is they are plastic. So I'm just going to burn the end. And then I smash it on the lid. And you can see now that it's not going to come off. Now when I put the flame to it, I like to put the flame close to where the little dome part clipped in so that it gets really warm and it will melt together. So you can see here now, they are not coming off. That was quick and easy. Now you could sew your face on now, or you can wait. So I think I'm going to wait and sew my face on after I get it all stuffed. So I know right where I want everything to be, but I wanted to make sure I get my eyeballs in there now. That didn't take very long, and now I'm just going to continue to go all the way around with my single crochets. Alrighty. The next round is round 12, and it's 2 single crochets. Just going to go ahead and do my 2 and a decrease. And I still have plenty of room to do my decreases. Okay, when you reach your stitch marker, you've completed your round. So this is row 13, and it's 1 single crochet all the way around. Just going to move my stitch marker and do a single crochet all the way around. Okay, so row 14 is going to be a single crochet and a decrease. So it's 1 single crochet and a decrease all the way around. Okay, so before I move my stitch marker, I'm going to stuff my kitty. Just going to put in little pieces at a time. And this is where you can decide how full you want yours to be. I really like mine to be nice and stiff. And so I'm going to stuff it nice and full, and then before I close it up, I'll put a little bit more stuffing in the bottom. Isn't he cute? I kind of decide if it's a boy or a girl, like right off the bat when I see it. This is a boy. Okay. The orange one's a girl. Alrighty. I think that's stuffed pretty nicely. So now I'm going to do, let's see here, a single crochet all the way around. I'm going to move my stitch marker. Alrighty. Now for the last row, before we close it off, I'm going to take my stitch marker off and I'm going to do an invisible decrease. You could do a regular decrease if you wanted to, if yours is too, too close stitches. Put my stitch marker on. So don't forget to stop and fill it up the rest of the way. Mine's is not closing up too bad, or I won't be able to stick a little bit of stuffing in there. Whew. Okay. So I'm here at the end, near that last stitch. I'm just going to chain one and pull it. I'm going to leave enough of a tail so I can close up this hole. Maybe that background will make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. Maybe not. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff mine a little bit more. I'm going to use the back of my crochet hook. Like I said, I want mine to be nice and nice packed. No wiggle room in there. There we go. I'm going to take my little needle. I found this needle at Hobby Lobby with the curved tip, and I think it's awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go in the front loops only, all the way around, and then I'm just going to pull it tight. And it's going to close that hole up really nicely. Okay, now I'm just going to go underneath some stitches right here in the circle of this bottom and pull it. And it really does tighten it up really nicely. Oh, I need a drink. Excuse me. You can go around as many times as you want. Again, I am not happy. I love tying knots, so I'm just going to come up here on the side. I'm staying in the same color. And I'm going to tie me a knot here. You can just bury your project, your tail. Again, I like to tie a knot. And I have a long enough piece now where I can just take it, put it in here. I like to take it through the stuffing, come out somewhere. I pull it tight. And then I'm just going to bury this. I'm going to use this now I got it in here, but that's why I had the smaller crochet hook. There we go. And it's buried. Cutie. Okay, so let's go ahead and do his tail. Simple, simple. I'm going to do a magic circle. And you could chain 2 and go on chain 3 and go into the first stitch if you prefer. And I'm just going to do 4 single crochets, 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now pull it tight. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. Count backwards. And I'm just going to keep going around. I'm not going to do any decreases or increases until the tail is as long as I want it. So I did my first stitch into the next round. I'm going to pull it really tight and tie my knot because I don't want that opening up. And it is just a slip knot. So now I'm just going to continue to go around. You don't need your stitch marker. You don't need to count. You just keep going around until your tail as long as you want it to be. And then when you tie it off, make sure that you leave enough yarn to sew your tail on. And I think I'm just going to end it right here. I just chain 1, I'm going to pull it. Never hurts to leave a nice long tail. And you can see I have that middle part hanging out. I'm just going to show you how I do it. You can tie yours off any way you want to. So what I'm going to do is go in right outside the middle up the top of this part of your heart, and I'm going to pull this yarn through. Now this is the tail from when you first started. And if you didn't leave enough and it's not sticking down there, you can tie it off by just tying a knot, just like you did the bottom, okay? I'd like to do this because I like to have something to tie it to. Now I'm just going to go around and I'm going to tie my tail on, or sew my tail on. Now if you wanted it to have more of a different shape, you could also do an increase row on the last row of your tail, which would make it flare out a little bit on the bottom, so that when you sewed it on, it would really just fit right on top, like a glove. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to take these 2 pieces and I'm going to tie a knot. Tie it, just pull it really tight, kind of bury itself under the tail. Now I'm just going to go in here, go through the stuffing, pull it, and I'm just going to go through here. I mean, I might as well. And I'm going to pull this through. Boy, this tail is a little inky dinky tail, it is, isn't it? That's okay. There we go. Little tail. Okay, so now we're going to make the ears. Let's make some ears. So we're going to make 2 of these. So I'm going to do a slip knot. Put it on my hook. And I'm going to chain 4. I'm going to go into that chain right next to the one we're in. And I'm going to go down and do 3 single crochets. And then I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to turn my work. We're going to go right into that very first one. You can see there's 1, 2, 3. Do 3 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to go into that very first one. Then we're going to do a decrease. And I'm going underneath both strands, pulling my yarn up and going through all of them. That was a decrease. So I'm going to chain 1, turn. Now I only have 2 stitches. So I'm going to go underneath 1, pull up, go into the next one and pull up, grab my yarn and pull it through all of them, And that is decrease. That's not invisible decrease, okay? I'm going to chain 1. Now I'm just going to go around the whole entire thing till I come back up here with slip stitches. Slip stitches is where you go under and you grab your yarn, pull it up, continually pull it through. That is a slip stitch. Now you're just going to go all the way around. Just look how you're doing it. There's, you know, you're going to be going up the side, so just kind of look and see where it's flat. See how it looks now? You can really see this variegated yarn. How you just pull it through. And when you get to the end, chain 1, pull it. You're going to want to leave enough yarn because you're going to weave it down here to the bottom. And then you're going to use these 2 to tie together to form the ear. So just leave enough yarn for that. And then again, I'm going to tie my yarn and pull it down. Now when you start crocheting and you're looking at this, you're going to see that once you put that knot there, it can't really come loose because this whole knot would have to go under there. And once we start sewing this in a different direction, it's going to hold it in place. See? So I'm going to just come in the back here. Now I'm just going to weave it through here to come out to this corner. And I have my ear. Okay. I'm going to come over here. You can decide where you want your ear to be. I like to look at this middle and do 2 right here on the side. See how I did that? 1, 2. Okay. And then I'm just going to attach it. So I'm going to take this and pull this little tiny string through. And I'm just going to, let's see, whoops, you know what, I'm just sew your ear on your way. This is how I'm doing mine. Now I'm looking at my ear to figure out where the top is. The top of his ear is right there. And there we go. We have a cat ear. Now you're going to put a cat ear on the other side. And remember, if you want your ear to like be pinched at the bottom, you can just take and sew it together right here in the back. Pinch it together. You got a pinched ear. And then when I get done, I'm going to make sure that they come out in the same stitch, the same hole, and I'm going to tie a knot. Now I like to take mine out the back, and I'm going to leave this hang till I put my other ear on. I'll bring it out here, tie them in a knot, and bury them. And I'm just trying to be really careful when I bury things and tie knots so they can't come out, because I do sell these at craft sales, and I don't want someone to pull on an ear and have the yarn come out, because that's really embarrassing. Alright, I sewed on his other ear. Isn't he cute? And I want to do his face. So I took a four ply like this, and I just took it and separated it. And so I had 2 ply, which is this. You can use a 4 ply. You can even make it smaller and do a 1 ply. You can use any kind of yarn, or what am I trying to say? You could use this. I use that to bind my books. You can use anything you want. So you want to make sure that you put his nose low enough where you can have the whiskers. And you could have all the whiskers come to one spot. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start down here and bring my needle up. And then I'm going to go ahead and make the nose. Now you could go back and forth this way if you wanted to and then put one line. You know, let's go ahead and do that. That's something different. Or you can do it like I did on the other cat and just go up and down. Pull this a little bit also. There. Now I'm going to put it in this side and bring it out over here where I want my whisker to start. Oh, isn't that cute? I want my whisker to go to here. I'm going to bring it out the other side. You can do your whiskers any way you want to. I kind of just go all over with my whiskers. I'm going to go up the bottom of his nose. And come down a little bit. Come out where I want my other whisker to be. See, I have his nose and a little line. It's kind of off to the side. There we go. So cute. And I think I'm just going to make the whiskers go to the same spot. Put 3 on this side. They're kind of coming out. See how they're kind of in the same rows. I like to make 3 whiskers on each side. And there it is. I'll tie these in a knot. I did come up in the same opening so that when I tie a knot I can bury it. And I'm going to take this, go into that same opening, go through the stuffing. See, it pulled that other piece in a little bit. I went underneath the stuffing a little bit. And I'm just going to bury my yarn. The stuffing will hold it in place more than you think. There we go. And there you go. Look at them. Here you go. It's a finished project. Isn't it cute? Well, thank you very much for watching. You guys have a great day. Stay safe. Please give this a try and crochet along with me. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate you all. Bye.